So, warm greetings. Welcome to our guided meditation. There was a monk from Thailand who came to Spirit Rock many years ago, and he would have these day-long retreats at the big meditation hall there, and maybe a few hundred people would be there for him. And he would, after everyone was in there were sometimes he would walk in and walk up the aisle to the front where he's going to sit. And as he's walking in, he would exclaim in English. He didn't speak much English, but he knew these words. He would exclaim, "Happy, happy, happy." And that would change the mood very quickly in the meditation hall. And so here we are. And I don't know if you're happy or not, and whether it's appropriate to even get close to being happy. But we are here today, this week, to explore the territory of joy in meditation. Just a minute here. So, to take a comfortable posture, and as I keep saying, not only comfortable, because if we focus too much on comfort, we miss much of the training that Buddhism offers, the training to learn how to be free, also when it's uncomfortable. And for that we have to look and be present within reason, also with what's uncomfortable and what's difficult in our experience. But still, to sit in a posture that has some degree of comfort or allows you to relax, and but also the posture that has some alertness to it. Joy has an energy quality to it. Sometimes it's said an uplifting energy, an uprising energy. And so the alertness, whether we're sitting upright or even lying down or standing or sitting in a chair, whatever way you are that works for you, is there some way to sit so that it's not only about relaxing? There's some engagement with some intentionality in the posture through which, when it comes, there can flow joy, delight, gladness, happiness. So then to gently close your eyes and to take a few long, slow, deep breaths. And as you breathe in deeply, not too deeply, can you appreciate breathing? Can you appreciate your body? Not all of it, but maybe there's some part of being alive, breathing, that has a rightness to it, a goodness to it, a satisfaction. It could be a relief just to now finally be sitting down, finally to be meditating. Putting aside all kinds of other concerns. And then to let your breathing return to normal. And whatever part of your body that's intentionally engaged. Some people, when they lay on their back, have their their arms to their side, but the forearms pointing to the ceiling. So there's some little effort to stay present, to notice when the arms start falling down. No sitting in a chair or sitting on a cushion. Some uprightness, maybe in the spine, and spend a little bit of time traveling up the spine with attention and making micro adjustments to the spine so that the weight of your body feels like it's centered on each vertebrae. Each vertebrae is centered on the one below. Especially between the shoulder blades. Gently to maybe pull the spine between the shoulder blades towards the front of the chest, even if it's just a millimeter or so. And that uprightness of the spine becomes like a pole that stays straight, but everything else can hang. So the shoulders, as you exhale, relax the shoulders. So the shoulders kind of hang. Relaxing the muscles that are connected close to the spine, down the tops and sides of your shoulders. The whole length of it softens and relaxes. Down your arms, maybe flapping your elbows a little bit to keep those area loose and relaxed. Loosen it up. And taking care that your hands are in a posture that doesn't require much tension or holding, gripping. And then allowing the belly to soften and relax. Kind of like the belly also falls away from the spine. Relaxing the belly so the belly is received by the skin that holds it in place. Or the belly softens downwards into the pelvic cavity. And perhaps you can soften the thighs. Any ways the thighs are gripping or tight. Releasing the thighs, the knees. And then moving the attention to the face, softening the face, allowing the muscles to fall away from the skull. Letting the eyes be soft and cool, relaxed, quiet eyes. And then to finally, as you exhale, relax the thinking brain. Whatever agitation, energy, pressure there is in thinking, as if the brain is a muscle. soften, quiet the thinking muscle. And in whatever depths of your being that you can feel, reaching deep down inside of yourself, maybe to a place where it's most precious, most place that is touched by the joys, the sorrows of life. The place where love is most sensitive. And as you exhale, relax around that. Relax any way in which you're bracing yourself or holding yourself back. Soften deep inside. And then stabilize yourself on the breathing. As if the breathing is a good friend who will support you and walk your path with you. Steady and reliable. Let the mind and your emotional life feel the goodness of just breathing in and out, the simplicity of that. Finding a place in the body where it is in fact stabilizing to feel the rhythm and breathing in and breathing out. It might be stabilizing in the belly, in the chest, or the back rib cage, or the air going in and out through the nostrils. Or maybe it's most stabilizing to be aware of the whole breath body, kind of the whole experience of the body breathing in, the body breathing out. in our present moment experience, there's always much more going on than our particular concerns, challenges, and unhappinesses of the moment. As you exhale, can you open up, release yourself into a wider experience of the present moment than whatever you're preoccupied with? Open up from the inhale and the exhale to a wider field of the bodily experience. To the wider field of emotions and concerns. And as you open up to include more, is there in your body and your experience any feelings, sensations that feel nourishing, wholesome, have a rightness to them? Feelings that might make it easier to stabilize yourself on the breathing, to relax and center yourself with the help of what is nourishing or wholesome. It helps you to allow the mind to become quieter and stiller, so you can receive and sense and feel whatever there's here that's nourishing and wholesome, the goodness that lives inside of you. And as you're sitting here, is there anything that brings you a sense of well-being, of gladness or joy? Any sense of anything you appreciate or are grateful for? Not so much in the wider world, but just to be able to sit and meditate this way. just in relationship to you and your body and being here. It can be as simple as appreciating the opportunity to be more connected to yourself. For these few minutes, maybe the most self-connected way you'll be all day. Feeling and sensing and being in your experience. What a good fortune to be able to do this. Breathing with your good fortune. Breathing with the goodness of this moment. Maybe as if your body is like a ball of yeasted dough. And as you breathe, the yeast is breathing and growing. And it's growing well-being, goodness, appreciation, joy, some sense of well-being, however small it begins. That can slowly grow throughout your body, supporting you to be stable and quiet, not needing to think about things much, but rather just let the dough expand and grow throughout your body. whatever there is that's for you right now, that is good. Sit with that appreciation of that goodness. It could be as simple as you're sitting in a place where the temperature is good. Your body's at a good temperature. Or a place where it's quiet for these few minutes. Or that your body is holding up okay for these minutes we're meditating. Or that you don't have to be involved actively in the concerns of the day. Or that so much of your physiology is working, even if parts of it are not working so well. A lot is working. Or that you're involved in a meditation practice, in a meditation community that has a long, tried and tested path to freedom, to liberation. With so many people down through the ages have tasted for themselves the possibility of great inner freedom. What a great good fortune to be on this path. And to sit here with appreciation, maybe even a sense of delight. And as you breathe, as if you're kneading the dough of appreciation and delight throughout your body, like you're kneading water into flour so the whole dough is equally saturated. And as we come to the end of this sitting, to recognize there's an art to appreciation. There's so much more to appreciate any given moment than most people allow themselves to experience, without denying the challenges that also exist. Mindfulness can help us, will help us, discover a greater range of things to appreciate here and now, in ourselves and around us. And may it be that whatever way we're centered, stable in the present moment, learning the value of pausing and seeing what's here, being attentive to the world around us and not consumed or caught up in our thoughts. May that ability, may we develop our ability to appreciate others. May we take the time to just allow the others to register more deeply, so that our bias, our old assumptions, our preconceived ideas of people doesn't predominate. But we allow ourselves to appreciate what there is to be appreciated in others. Without forcing our appreciation on them. Just allowing our warmth, our appreciating eyes, our kind regard to flow towards other people in person and in our thoughts and imagination, people we know and people in our communities. And may it be that we experience greater joy in appreciating others, and may our appreciation of others spread a sense of goodness and safety and support for all beings. May we live actively expanding the circles of appreciation, so we can support others, we can live a life that's concerned with the welfare and benefit and happiness of others. May our practice today support all beings. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings everywhere be free. So this morning, Monday morning, I begin a new theme for the week, and this is the third of the 4 Brahmaviharas, 4 divine abidings, that of mudita. And mudita is often translated into English as either sympathetic joy or appreciative joy. And because those two-word translations require some explanation, sometimes I prefer a single English word to translate mudita, and that's the word rejoice. And I think the word rejoice captures more the sense of there's something particular that we're celebrating or really appreciating, and that rejoicing is a little bit more of a active, energized kind of appreciation and gratitude and delight in something that's worth delighting about, or something that's really worth celebrating. And here I live a block away from a local high school, and when high school is in session, sometimes I'm walking by the campus when the students are leaving at the end of the day. And one of the great delights is when I see a couple of them talking, or a small group talking, and they seem so happy and engaged and active, and something important that they're certainly must be very important they're talking about, because there's this joy in just maybe just getting out of school and seeing each other, seeing their friends. And I just feel so happy seeing them. I feel delighted. I feel certainly a certain kind of appreciative joy. But it's almost like I don't have to actively appreciate them. It's just that it's just a joyful thing to see the joy of other people and just experience it and know that it's happening. And so part of a mindful life is a life that not only is mindful of the present moment, but uses that capacity for present moment awareness to start being aware in a more useful way than some of the selective ways we can be on automatic pilot. So we know that some people have negativity bias, where they tend to notice what's wrong with themselves or notice what's wrong with the world, and there's a strong, tendency in that direction. There's a danger bias, where people have a strong tendency to look for where the danger is, worried and afraid of things, and very cautious. There's also a lust bias, where we're looking for what can I get, what can I have that brings me pleasure, joy, some kind of just pleasure, and looking for what's nice and what I can have. There's also a anger, hostility bias that some people have, an aversion bias, looking for what's wrong again, but doing it with a little bit of hostility. It's particularly painful when it's directed towards oneself. And so people have these blinders on, will have this very selective orientation. And if we're not aware of that, then present moment awareness becomes the support for that selective bias in our awareness and what we're oriented towards. And it's very hard to see it because it's sometimes so ingrained and so habituated, we just think it's normal or natural that we're the way we are. But anyway, the point being that present moment awareness is sometimes we develop that, but it's not always used for a good purpose because of this tendency we have. And so one of the things with a mindful life is to live a little bit deliberately, a little bit with intentionality, with sense of purpose. And one of them is the purpose to open up beyond the selectivity, open up wider and take in more of what the experience is in a way that maybe is actually more realistic. And one of the things is, one way to do that for many people is to appreciate what's happening, to spend a little bit of time looking and being grateful, being appreciative, being delighted by the things that are happening that are appreciable, that are that bring gratitude, that bring delight, delightable things. Now it can be overdone for sure, and there are people whose selectivity bias is a little bit too romantically focused on how everything is wonderful and good, and so that has its own corrective that's needed. But it isn't so much that we're trying to have a new bias, but really trying to open up and expand and break down the selectivity ways we are, so we have a wider field of what's happening. If we do that really well, chances are we won't be so consumed with our fantasies, our memories, our predictions about the future. And we'll start appreciating more just being present here. And it turns out that there's actually a higher percentage of things that are working and going well in the present moment than our selectivity bias will often pick out and look at. I've had, various things, go wrong with my body. I had surgery last week and surgery a year ago, and different kind of things have happened, and different, I'm getting older, and different things are aching and hurting and doing this and that, and so it's just part of the aging process, and now I could get preoccupied with these, these things happening in my body, and be upset or be worried or just spend my whole day looking up, searching, reading about every possible nuance of what's going on, and spend my days concerned about it. But I can also appreciate that certainly I have these things my body I have to take care of, but some high percentage, 99%, 99.9%, maybe even higher, of what it takes to make this body operate relatively harmoniously is working. it's working very well. I mean, I don't even know everything that goes on, all the hormones and chemicals and neurons and all the things that are needed, this complicated event that we have in the body, but it's remarkable. It's mostly working, and I'm still able to speak. And what a complicated thing to speak words and know what they mean and string them together. And wow, I shouldn't take this for granted. I'm spending time now with some people who are have senility, and the words are not there, the sentences are not there, the memory's not there, and it's so easy to have a selectivity bias that excludes things, takes things for granted, and so part of the sense of giving purpose to mindfulness, a mindful life, is to begin appreciating things more, and this can give birth to this mudita, this delight, appreciation, this rejoicing in others. And this idea of rejoicing in the success and the good fortune of other people is one of the really great, I think, joys of this practice. And partly it's a joy because it's an antidote to the idea of being self-preoccupied, self-concerned in such a way that we set up a tension between self and other, and where we have jealousy or envy or not that person, or I want that, or why don't I have that, and feeling of inadequacy. But to be able to be genuinely, relaxedly open and appreciative, delighted in the good fortune of other people, like I am delighted seeing these high school students leaving their campus, is one of the great gifts of this mindful life. But don't take it by chance that it might come along. Don't take any of the Brahmaviharas as just a chance occurrence that you should feel these ways. But actually spend time cultivating them and developing them and looking for them and recognizing them when they arise. So to begin spending more time in the states or in activities of appreciation. And as we appreciate things, I'd encourage you to allow yourself to feel gladness or joy or delight or a kind of pleasure in that. And let it kind of fill you, and take time to let it fill you. Now, some people might complain that what I'm talking about is, or point out that it might be selfish, and it's self-absorbed, just about myself and how I feel good. And certainly there's a danger of that. But I think for most of us it's the opposite, that what's selfish or self-concerned or conceited are all the preoccupations that go into the selectivity bias we have for our attention. Most of the ways we think about ourselves are maybe a little bit more too much about me, myself, and mine, and what's in it for me, or how am I, or I'm not doing well enough, or I'm unworthy, or I have to get more, or get out of the way because I want to have that, not you. I mean, all kinds of things about self. That those are the things that cause harm in our society, in our world. Appreciation doesn't cause much harm in our society. If we offer too much of it to others, they might get a little annoyed. But I think that appreciation of others and having delight in others, rejoicing in others, sharing in their joy in a nice, balanced, open way. Don't worry that it's selfish. Don't worry that it's leaving too much out and not realistic. I would venture to suggest that for many people, it's the normal way they are that see the world, which is not realistic. And by expanding our field of appreciation, rather than stepping into something unrealistic, we actually discovering a more realistic way of being in the world that doesn't deny the difficulties, that doesn't deny the challenges, but maybe creates a very different context for experiencing them and being with them, in a way that maybe we don't become oppressed by the challenges. We don't get limited by the challenges that we have. We take them in stride and hold them more lightly, and And not very far away is our capacity to breathe, to relax, to be present here, and also just appreciate this life. Wow, what a great thing. There is much more joy available for us than most people recognize. And if we learn to appreciate more, then we'll be able to be givers of joy, provide the gift of joy to others. And that is what I think is the great heart of mudita, of rejoicing. To know how to do this well is to give the gift of joy to others, gift of appreciation. So that was kind of introductory talk on this topic of mudita. And I would encourage you, if you're at all inclined, to do this over the next 24 hours. Spend some time, more time than you normally would do, trying to be present for what can be appreciated, especially appreciated in the present moment. And then if you have some friends you can talk to about it, talk to them over what you're discovering. Have a conversation about appreciation of what's here as an alternative to our selectivity bias for what is not right. And may you, in doing this, delight in this exploration. Thank you.